These are the hand building tables. When you use these, just make sure to wipe down your workspace with a wet sponge when you're done, again, so you can just keep the space clean. Cleanup is really important in the studio. The studio is run and maintained by unpaid student board members, so if you leave a mess, you're either creating a mess for those unpaid student workers or other people in the club who are just trying to use the space. So when you're finished working, make sure you wipe down your space with a wet sponge. Keeping everything wet is always a good rule of thumb. If you're throwing on the wheel, make sure you totally clean up your space on the wheel. If you don't have time to clean up after you work in the studio, you don't have time to be in the studio. Remember to return any tools or buckets after you've cleaned them to their correct spots over on the wall. And put any clay scraps in one of the proper reclaim bins. Any club members should plan on attending a deep clean at least one point in the semester, and that's going to be about 30 minutes to an hour of just wiping down stuff in the studio, mopping, cleaning up so that the space stays clean and usable for everyone. This is the wheel throwing area. This is, if you want to throw a piece on the wheel, this is where you're going to do it. You have the plugs here. The wheel should be plugged in, but if for some reason your wheel isn't turning on, make sure it's plugged in. You can turn your wheel on here. When you see the green light turn on, that means your wheel is on. If your right hand is your dominant hand, you want it to be set to reverse. And if your left hand is your dominant hand, you want it to be set to forward. Make sure that you turn off your wheel when you're done using it. When you are done throwing on the wheel, you want to start off by taking your bat off, taking your piece off the bat, and then doing a dirty water wash. The way that you do that is you take the dirty water that is in your bucket after throwing and using a sponge to just wipe down and get all the excess water and clay out of the bottom of the wheel and the splash pins, and just getting it as clean as possible as you can with your dirty water. And then you want to take your bucket that'll be full of your dirty water and your clay scraps. If you have any large clay scraps, you can put them in the reclaim, and you want to dump out your bucket over the clay trap that we have in the studio. It's really, really important that you dump out everything over the clay trap so no clay is going into our pipes. Do not use this sink when you are putting clay water down the sink. Please use this one with the clay trap. After you get all of your dirty water out, you can refill your bucket with clean water and then do a clean water wash, which is going back to your wheel and just wiping everything down again, getting it as clean as you possibly can with that clean water. When you finish, your water will probably still be dirty again, so you'll bring it back over to the clay trap, pour your water down again, and then make sure you're rinsing off all of your tools, your sponges, your bucket, so that everything is clean and back in its place when you're done throwing. When you're done throwing on the wheel, after you've done your dirty water wash, if there are any spots, you can spot clean around the bottom of your wheel just to make sure that everything is clean, and then return the pedal and the brick to the top of your wheel and put the stool back up. And one more time, just make sure that your wheel is turned off before you leave the studio.